My ordinary selfie accidentally appeared in a billionaire's social media feed. He messaged me immediately. I thought it was a scam, until his private jet landed in my city the next day. What happened next completely transformed my life forever. Hey, I'm Alex, just your average 27-year-old working a 9-to-5 job at a local marketing firm. My apartment is tiny, my car is secondhand, and my biggest excitement used to be finding good deals at the grocery store. I'd scroll through social media during lunch breaks, double-tapping celebrities living lives I could only dream about. My friends always said I had a great smile, but I never thought it was anything special. Just me being me. My routine was predictable: wake up, work, gym sometimes, take out dinner while watching reality shows, sleep, repeat. Dating apps had become a source of disappointment rather than hope. I'd given up on the fairy tale and settled into what I thought was my forever normal. The highlight of my week was usually Friday night drinks, with friends where we'd laugh about our dating disasters and impossible crushes. That selfie changed everything. It was just a random Sunday afternoon. Golden hour lighting streaming through my window, my hair actually cooperating for once. Nothing staged or filtered, just genuine happiness from finishing a book I loved. My best friend dared me to post it with some philosophical caption about finding joy in simple moments. I didn't think twice about it. Why would I? It was just another photo joining millions uploaded that day. Stay with me until the end, because I'm about to reveal how this single, unplanned photo completely transformed my life overnight. I'll share exactly what happened when a billionaire's private message lit up my phone, and the unexpected techniques I discovered that create genuine connections across any social divide. These are secrets anyone can use to attract life-changing opportunities when you least expect them. I was halfway through my Monday morning meeting when my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Annoyed, I snuck a peek and nearly dropped it. The notification showed a message from a verified account with the unmistakable name of Ethan Shaw, tech billionaire and founder of Horizon Industries. My heart raced as I opened it, convinced it had to be some elaborate spam or a friend playing a prank. Your smile caught my attention, but your caption about finding joy in small moments made me pause my day. In a world of staged perfection, authenticity shines brighter than diamonds. Would love to hear more about the book that inspired such genuine happiness. I stared at my phone, reading the message 20 times before showing it to my best friend, who immediately screamed, "It's a catfish." But something felt different. The message wasn't asking for anything, no links, no requests, just genuine curiosity. Against all logic, I replied with a brief summary of the book and my favorite quote from it. Within minutes, he responded with thoughtful commentary and his own book recommendation. Our conversation flowed effortlessly for hours. 3 days of messaging later, I was still convinced this was an elaborate hoax, until my phone rang with an unknown number. His voice was exactly like the interviews I'd frantically Googled. Deep, confident, but with an unexpected warmth and slight nervousness that no impersonator could fake. "I have a meeting in your city tomorrow. Would it be completely inappropriate to ask if we could meet for coffee?" I said yes before my brain could process what was happening. That night, I barely slept, cycling between excitement and panic. What could someone who owned multiple companies, flew private jets, and socialized with celebrities possibly see in me? Was I setting myself up for humiliation? Little did I know that coffee would be the first chapter of the most unexpected story of my life. The cafe I chose was nothing fancy, my regular spot with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. I arrived 30 minutes early, nervously checking my appearance in the bathroom mirror. I'd changed outfits 7 times that morning before settling on something casual but nice. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Just as I sat down, my phone pinged with a message. "Running 5 minutes late. Traffic. Sorry." Even billionaires get stuck in traffic. Somehow, that made him more human. When he walked in, the entire cafe seemed to pause. Not because everyone recognized him, he was dressed simply in jeans and a navy sweater, but because he carried himself with this quiet confidence that commanded attention. Our eyes met, and he smiled. Not the polished smile from magazine covers, but something genuine that crinkled the corners of his eyes. In that moment, my anxiety melted away. "Alex?" he asked, extending his hand. I nodded, unable to form words. "I'm Ethan. It's really good to meet you in person." His voice was warm, with a slight nervous edge that matched my own. We ordered coffee, and for the first 20 minutes, the conversation was awkward, filled with small talk and nervous laughter. But then he mentioned something about the book we'd discussed, and suddenly, we couldn't stop talking. Hours passed like minutes. We discussed everything, from childhood dreams to global economics, from favorite movies to life philosophies. Not once did he check his watch or phone. Not once did I feel judged or less than. The strangest part, I forgot who he was. He wasn't a billionaire sitting across from me. He was just Ethan, thoughtful, funny, and surprisingly vulnerable. "Why me?" I finally asked the question that had been haunting me. "You could literally meet anyone in the world." He looked down at his coffee, then back at me with those intense eyes. "That photo," he said softly, "it wasn't just your smile, it was that you looked completely present and genuinely happy about something so simple. Do you know how rare that is in my world? Everyone wants something from me. But you weren't trying to be anything other than yourself. That's magnetic." As the cafe began closing around us, I realized we'd been talking for almost 5 hours. "I have to fly to Tokyo tonight," he said, regret evident in his voice. "But I'd really like to see you again." My heart skipped as he asked for my number, even though we'd been messaging already. Something about the gesture felt old-fashioned and sweet. Walking to my car, I couldn't stop smiling. Whatever this was, even if it ended right there, it had already changed something in me. 3 days after our cafe meeting, a package arrived at my apartment. Inside was a first-edition copy of the book we'd discussed, with a handwritten note. "Found this in Tokyo. Thought of you immediately. Dinner tomorrow?" Below was his private number. My roommate nearly fainted when I told her who it was from. I called him immediately, my heart racing as his voice came through the line. "Is this too much?" he asked, a hint of uncertainty in his voice that made this powerful man suddenly endearing. We made plans for the weekend. What followed was unlike anything I'd experienced. He flew back early from Tokyo just for our date. A sleek black car picked me up, taking me to a rooftop restaurant that had been closed to the public for the evening. The entire city sparkled below us as we ate and talked for hours. But the luxury wasn't what impressed me. It was how he remembered every detail I'd mentioned in passing. How he asked questions about my family with genuine interest. How his eyes never left mine when I spoke about my dreams, no matter how ordinary they seemed compared to his achievements. "Most people want to know about my success," he confessed over dessert. "You're the first person in years who's asked about my failures." That night, he told me about his 3 failed startups before Horizon, about the year he lived in his car, about his parents who never believed in him. I shared my insecurities, my abandoned art career, my fears of never being enough. Something shifted between us, walls coming down, a connection forming that transcended our different worlds. The following weeks were a blur of unexpected moments, surprise picnics in parks where he managed to be just another person without the weight of his name. Late-night phone calls when he was halfway across the world. Simple text messages throughout the day that made me smile. One evening, he rented out my favorite local bookstore after hours, and we read passages from our favorite books to each other until midnight. "I can buy anything," he said quietly as we left, his hand warm in mine. "But these moments with you, they're the first things in a long time that money can't replicate." 6 weeks into our whirlwind romance, reality crashed into our bubble. A paparazzi photo of us leaving a restaurant made headlines. Tech billionaire's mystery girl. Who is she? My social media exploded overnight. Strangers analyzed every aspect of my appearance, my job, my past. Old classmates I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly wanted to reconnect. The comments ranged from supportive to cruel. She must be a gold digger. What could he possibly see in her? Each word felt like a knife, making me question everything. My parents called, concerned about the sudden exposure. "Honey, are you sure about this?" my mom asked gently. "People like him. They live in different worlds." Even my closest friends seemed different, some treating me like I'd won the lottery, others pulling away entirely. One night, my best friend since childhood looked at me with tears in her eyes. "I feel like I'm losing you to his world," she confessed. "We used to talk about everything, and now your life seems like something from a movie I'm not part of." Her words stung because they reflected my own fears. When Ethan surprised me with tickets to Paris, I found myself hesitating. "What's wrong?" he asked, noticing my expression. The question unleashed everything I'd been holding back. "What happens when you get bored of me?" I asked, tears streaming down my face. "When the novelty of dating someone normal wears off? When you realize I don't belong in your world?" His face fell as I continued. "Everyone thinks I'm with you for your money." Maybe they're right about us being too different. The painful truth hung between us. Our connection felt real, but the worlds we came from created invisible barriers neither of us knew how to navigate. That night was our first real fight. Words were said, insecurities exposed. He left my apartment angry, and I cried myself to sleep, convinced it was over. 3 days passed without a word from him. The silence was deafening. Just as I was starting to accept the end of our brief fairy tale, my doorbell rang at 2 a.m. There he stood, exhausted, holding a small box. "I needed time to think," he said quietly, and I realized something important. The small box in Ethan's hand wasn't a ring, it was a USB drive. "Can I come in?" he asked softly. Inside my apartment, he plugged it into my laptop. A photo appeared, the same selfie that had started everything. "This is what I saw that first day," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Not a beautiful face. Though you are beautiful. I saw someone real in a world of fake. Someone who found joy in simple things when I'd forgotten how." He took my hands in his. "My whole life, people have wanted pieces of me. My money, my connections, my status. You're the first person who just wanted my time, my thoughts, my real self." Tears filled his eyes. "The truth is, I don't care if we fit into each other's worlds. We can build our own." He pulled out a second item, a sketch of a small cottage by the ocean. "I bought this land yesterday. Not a mansion, not a showpiece, just a place where both of us could feel at home." I realized then that our differences weren't our weakness. They were our strength. He'd shown me possibilities beyond my small life. I'd reminded him of simple joys he'd forgotten. "I'm scared," I admitted, "but I'm more scared of walking away from this." As the sun rose outside my window, we made a promise to build something real together, regardless of what anyone else thought. The billionaire and the ordinary girl, creating an extraordinary love story on our own terms. 6 months into our relationship, we'd found our rhythm. The media eventually moved on to fresher scandals, though we still made occasional headlines. What surprised me most was how we balanced our different lives. Ethan didn't try to transform me into someone who fit his world. Instead, he stepped into mine more often than not. He'd show up at my local coffee shop in worn jeans and a baseball cap, completely unbothered when the barista didn't recognize him. We'd spend weekends at my parents' house, where my dad still insisted on paying for dinner, despite Ethan's protests. For my part, I learned to navigate his world without losing myself. I stood beside him at charity galas and business events, no longer intimidated by the wealth around me. "You belong anywhere you choose to be," he'd whisper when he sensed my confidence wavering. His business partners soon discovered I wasn't just Ethan's girlfriend, I had opinions and insights he valued. After one particularly intense board meeting, where my marketing background proved useful, his CFO pulled me aside. "You know, he's different since meeting you, more grounded, happier." The cottage by the ocean became our sanctuary, a place where we were just us, without labels or expectations. We painted the walls ourselves, laughing as we splattered each other with blue paint. We planted a garden where neither of us knew what we were doing. Those simple moments, dirt under our fingernails, sunset walks on the beach, falling asleep to the sound of waves, became our most precious treasures. "This," Ethan said one evening as we sat on our porch swing, "is the wealth that actually matters." Looking back now, it seems impossible that a single photo could have changed everything. But that's how life works sometimes. The most profound changes happen in the most ordinary moments. Ethan and I have been together for 2 years now. We're not perfect. We still navigate the complexities of our different backgrounds, still face public scrutiny at times. But we've built something real, something that defies the odds and expectations placed on both of us. The greatest lesson I've learned isn't about love at first sight or fairy tale endings. It's about authenticity. That photo wasn't filtered, posed, or planned. It was just me, genuinely happy in a simple moment. That authenticity is what broke through Ethan's walls of wealth and status. In a world where everyone was performing, I was simply being. And that, surprisingly, was the rarest thing of all. I've changed, yes. My perspective is broader, my confidence stronger. But my core values remain the same. And Ethan has changed too. Slowed down, learned to appreciate small joys, reconnected with parts of himself he'd lost in the pursuit of success. Our love story isn't about me entering his world or him entering mine. It's about creating something entirely new together, a life defined not by bank accounts or status, but by genuine connection, growth, and moments of simple, unfiltered joy. I never expected my story would resonate with so many of you. From that one unfiltered moment to where I am today, it's been a journey that's taught me the power of being genuinely yourself. The comments and messages I receive asking for advice have been overwhelming. So many of you wondering if lightning could strike twice, if your own life could transform from ordinary to extraordinary in an instant. Here's what I know for sure. Authenticity is magnetic. In a world obsessed with filters and facades, being unapologetically real stands out. It's not about finding a billionaire. It's about removing the masks we wear and allowing genuine connections to form, regardless of who they're with. Your authentic self is your superpower. If this story touched something in you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Next week, I'm sharing the exact conversation techniques that helped me and Ethan bridge our different worlds. Practical tips anyone can use to create deeper connections, whether in relationships, friendships, or professional settings. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway from today's story. I personally read every single one and love connecting with you. Remember, sometimes the most life-changing opportunities come when we're brave enough to simply be ourselves.